So today I'm here to show you guys how we do our grocery budget and also how we meal plan. Now, I am going to be going into the specifics of this, but I'm not going to delve really deep into how we decide what food we buy, how we decide what food we're going to eat, and get into all that kind of personal specific stuff, because that could really just be a video in and of itself. That's not what I'm really here to talk about. I show over on Instagram fairly regularly little snippets of me putting together our meal plan and our bi-weekly grocery list and stuff like that, and you guys always have a ton of interest, so I decided to just go ahead and make a dedicated video to it. I've done different things all throughout my life when it comes to grocery shopping, but I feel like now I've really gotten to a comfortable routine and I really like what I'm doing and it's working for our family. So this is what I'm probably going to be doing for the foreseeable future. And obviously all this stuff is personal to me. This is what our budget is. This is what our finances allow. Some people probably spend a ton more on groceries. Some people probably spend a ton less on groceries. Some people probably only like to shop at specific stores. Some people, everything. So just try to keep that in mind, that this is coming from a person who is just taking into account what works for her own family. Like I said, we've done very many different things over the years when it was just Mark and I, and we both were working crazy jobs and crazy hours. We would literally go to the grocery store and throw whatever into the cart and literally just make it work for the next 2 weeks until we got paid again. That's our motto until we had children, and we were like, oh wait, we should probably think this out a little bit more. And then when we had 2 kids, it was more about like sticking to a set budget every month, and that's how things just kind of naturally progressed. But with that being said, we do shop at 2 places. We shop at Walmart and we shop at Aldi. Now, I live in a real small town place in Ohio in the Midwest. I don't have Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, any of that fun stuff for you guys. I have Giant Eagle, Walmart, and Aldi, and a couple of discount stores, but I don't really frequent them because not all of them accept cards. So for that reason, we stick to Walmart and Aldi. We used to shop at Giant Eagle when it was just the 2 of us, but with trying to be as budget conscious as possible, I find that easier to do at Walmart and Aldi than at Giant Eagle. Every 2 weeks we have a budget of $300, and that goes towards breakfast, lunch, and snacks for everybody in the family. It also goes to about 12 to 13 dinners at least every 2 weeks. There's a couple nights where we might eat at my mom's, eat at my grandma's, we might have family over, we might order out, something like that. And if we're eating somewhere else, as in someone else's house, I don't have to worry about that. But if we do eat out, sometimes I try to fit it in the budget if it's possible. It just kind of depends. If not, that'll end up coming out of another section of our budget. And in case you're new to my channel or my videos, our family, it's my husband, myself, and our 4-year-old and our 3-year-old. And I am also 32 weeks pregnant. Not that I require a ton more food, but just so you know, our family is growing. But that's what we're doing right now. So $300 for all of that, plus also some household items. We try to eat the best we can within our means. We try to eat a balanced diet. We also try to have our kids eat better than us. My husband and I don't necessarily make the best choices food-wise for ourselves, but we would like to see our children do better than us, so we try to instill that. But at the same time, we're not perfect by any means. You're obviously going to see that. We're not eating sustainable, homegrown, non-GMO, organic, raw food 100% of the time, or even probably part of the time. But we try to do the best that we can within our budget, within our means, with what makes sense to us. Over this next part of the video, you are going to see intermittent overlay clips of me actually doing what I'm talking about. I recorded myself doing as much as I could during the last time I went ahead and did some grocery shopping, which was just a few days ago. So I tried to capture as much as I could on camera for you guys that made sense. So that is going to come in and out throughout me talking, but the first thing that I did want to mention is that we are using the Walmart grocery pickup. It has been working phenomenally for us. So for that reason, throughout the 2 weeks, before I go grocery shopping, I am adding stuff to the grocery pickup app. so I don't forget it's stuff that we need. You know, if I see toilet paper out, I'll just add it real quick, stuff like that. And I'm constantly doing that throughout the week, so that's also happening besides the meal planning and the budgeting and everything. So with the meal planning, I first kind of go in order. I check the list from the last 2 weeks, see if we skipped any dinners. I believe the last time I went grocery shopping, we did. There was a few nights because of my birthday, people took us out to dinner and stuff like that. They were super kind. So for that reason, we did not use all of the dinners or all the ingredients that we needed for those dinners. So for that reason, I'll write those down, and then I'll go in our pantry, see if there's anything that I could use to maybe make a dinner, which there's typically not unless it's a dinner we didn't get to. And then after that, I go ahead and I ask my family what they would like for dinner. Now, keep in mind, it's a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, and also a grown man who likes to eat like a 16-year-old boy. So for that reason, I get told things like SpaghettiOs and macaroni and cheese and chicken tenders and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if my kids are willing to eat it, I will make it because mealtime is a battle in and of itself. So I try to accommodate it. Sometimes, not always, just depending on what our budget is. You know, obviously some meals are more expensive to make than others. I try to keep that in mind as well, but I typically do try to give the girls whatever they tell me they actually want to eat, and also my husband, and also myself too, because obviously I have meals that I prefer. But I normally do need around 3 to 4 more meals. That's where I tend to spend the longest amount of time with this, to find a meal that is going to accommodate toddlers, not take a ton of time. And I also do not like to use my oven in the summertime. We do not have central air, we just have AC units around our house. So for that reason, turning on the oven is like inviting the sun into our house. It is excruciating and I hate doing it. So for that reason, I try to stick to my crock pot, stovetop, or Instant Pot. Otherwise, it's probably not going to get made because I don't want to turn the oven on. Either way, I do try to figure stuff out. I'll flip through my recipe book. I'll look at past meals that we've had. I'll go on Pinterest. I try not to do too many new recipes because honestly, Pinterest can be kind of dodgy, let's be honest. I have ruined my fair share of dinners, and then I'm so mad about it that we just go end up eating out anyways, and it was a waste of money because we ended up eating out, and I also wasted all the ingredients because a recipe didn't turn out good. So I try to keep new recipes to a minimum. I will also say if there's holidays like Father's Day, Christmas, Easter, birthdays, whatever, where we're having meals at home or I have to take stuff to that holiday or whatever it might be, that also goes into the budget. So then after dinner, I turn to everybody's breakfast, lunch, and snacks. This again, I just go to the girls and ask them what they would like. I go to my husband and ask them what they would like. I figure out what I would like for breakfast, lunch, and snacks. I will also mention here that with the produce, I try to grab things that are on sale. I do like Aldi for most of my produce. I don't buy too much at Walmart, although Walmart kind of has a different selection for organic stuff, so it can be nice. Aldi also normally has really great produce sales every single week, so I try to at least utilize a couple of those, and then I'll get a few things that aren't on sale, but I always check the flyer. So after the meal plan is laid out, that's when I go through the household and see if I missed anything that didn't get added, or stuff I didn't get told about. I can't tell you how many times they'd be brushing their teeth with just water if I hadn't checked the toothpaste, but I go ahead and I go around the house and I try to check for that stuff. Like I said, our budget does include some household stuff. I would even venture to say maybe most of it, but definitely not all. So after I figure out the household stuff, I will then go back to the meal plan and I will start writing down every single thing I'm going to need. I write down everything for the breakfast, lunch, dinners, snacks, individualize literally every single thing I'm going to need, and then from that list I slowly start to add things to the Walmart grocery pickup app. I'll make sure to cross it off the list so it doesn't get counted in with the Aldi stuff or anything. I do this so that I also know if something's completely out of stock at Walmart, I'm gonna have to try and find it out at Aldi, so I will just leave it on the list for that. And then after that, I do have a master list of Aldi prices. And before I started doing the Walmart grocery pickup, I also had a list of Walmart prices as well. And even towards the end there, when I wasn't doing the grocery pickup, I was still able to use my Walmart app because I would scan my receipts and I could easily go through there. But I also did have a physical list like I do for Aldi. These are things that I have bought and prices that I have written down. I do typically start with my most recent receipt because I do have a lot of crossover between every 2 weeks. There's a lot of staples that we just continually buy every single time. So I'll start with the receipt to get the most current price off of those products, but there are a lot of products that do come and go and fluctuate throughout every single grocery trip. So for that reason, if it's new or not on the list or whatever, I make sure to go to the master list, write it down, and write down the price that I knew it for. Of course, prices fluctuate, but I have had this list for over a year now, and I've only recently gone back and redid it, and I found that nothing was more than 30 cents more expensive or cheaper. So honestly, it does fluctuate, but not by a lot. So with that master list, I'll start going down the stuff that we need from Aldi, and I'll start writing the price next to it. I used to do this along with Walmart things as well, but again, the grocery pickup app does that all for me. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So once I get done with that, I check the Walmart grocery app. I'll write that number down somewhere on my paper to know what I'm going to spend at Walmart. And then I will go through and I will tally up all the prices from Aldi. You will see that my prices are always rounded up to the nearest tenth of a cent. And that is on purpose. Number one, it just makes adding everything up easier. And number two, it also accounts for some of the tax that I run into. Every state in the United States is different on what they tax. Here in Ohio, we don't get taxed on food, but we get taxed on everything else. So the food is not taxed, and that is the genuine price of what you will pay. However, I do get a lot of household items, so rounding up to the nearest tenth of a cent, I find just to be easier to kind of account for that unpredictable tax. Obviously, you can add up the tax and see exactly what you would spend on that, but I'm not about that. I'm not going to take that step. This is just something that I do to kind of account for it. And like I said, I do want to stay at $300. Now, for the past several weeks, I have also been adding stuff for our baby who's due in August. So for that reason, I do allow myself to go up to like $310 because I'm buying snacks to hoard for when she's here. I'm buying wipes, diaper cream, like just random stuff. Every grocery pickup order, I'm adding a few things that she needs to kind of do things that way. Now, I will say my method is not perfect. However, I find that doing this, adding up my Aldi prices with the log that I have and also the grocery pickup order and them telling me what I'm going to spend, I have never been more than $10 over or under, and I think that's really big. If I'm at a point in the budget that I'm not comfortable with, and honestly it has to get to like 320 where I'm starting to sweat and I'm like, okay, something needs to come off, I will go through and see if I added anything that maybe could wait another 2 weeks. Like a lot of times with some of the household items, I'm just putting them in the cart because I'm thinking about it while I'm using it, but when I actually think about it, we're gonna be fine for another 2 weeks. I just added it in because I happen to be in the moment. So I go and see if there's anything that can be cut, and I will do that. But as you can see, this time I estimated that I would spend $314. I was more than okay with that, especially because that did also include some stuff, like I said, for the baby. So I went ahead and I placed the Walmart grocery pickup order. Now that total stayed the same. There was nothing out of stock and there was nothing that they substituted that was cheaper than what I bought. So for that reason, my total there was exactly the same. Now, at Aldi, I actually spent less than what I predicted. I only spent $104. So that brings us to $210. So I was $6 off, but in a good way, which is awesome. But like I said, this I feel like was a complete game changer when I started doing this. It is tedious. It does take me a couple of hours to do all of this, but it has helped us tremendously. When Mark and I ourselves would go grocery shopping, we would spend $300, and we would spend it on stuff that wouldn't last for 2 weeks, you know, like, and we would spend it on junk, and I don't even think we were actually even really buying anything for the house. I think that was a completely different shopping trip, honestly. But this way, I know what I'm spending before I get to the store. The Walmart grocery pickup also has helped a lot with like impulse buying. It has worked super, super well for us. I'm going to put a referral code down in the drop box for you guys to get $10 off your first order. It also gives me $10 off of one of my orders, so thank you if you use it. But it's been huge because it saves me time. Grocery shopping used to take around 2.5 hours for me, not even counting the time that it takes me to get to the store. And now it takes me like an hour, hour and a half tops because they come out and they do everything for me. It's just been working super well. And like I said, it does curb the impulse buying because I'm not actually going in the store. However, at Aldi, it's still tempting. They still obviously have like some of that fun, new, exciting seasonal stuff, and you kind of want to get carried away. But I'm trying to get better with that as well. But knowing what I'm going to spend beforehand also does help me keep me conscious that I want to stay really close to that number. So it does kind of deter me even in Aldi from impulse buying. But it's just been a huge game changer. It's allowed us to be really consistent with our grocery budget. Like I said, I know this is tedious. I know it's time consuming. It's not going to be for everybody. But I did want to share it because you guys do have a lot of interest on Instagram when I show you pictures of me doing it. I thought I would just make a video thoroughly explaining my method and take it or leave it. I'm just trying to be helpful, but I really love doing things this way. My husband hates it. He hates when I say things don't fit in the budget, but you know what? That's just kind of part of being financially responsible. So we can't always have everything that we want. It has to also make sense financially. So yeah, that is everything. If I missed anything or if you have questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.